What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel, my friends. Welcome back. For those of you who are new, my name is Jonathan, and if this is your first time tuning into my channel and you're looking to gain a deeper understanding of the whole spiritual awakening process, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell to be notified each time that I upload a video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about 5 things that you should avoid during your spiritual awakening at all costs. Let's get started. When it comes to the spiritual awakening process, no two individuals will go through the exact same scenarios and situations. And even when you look at spirituality, when you look at what it means to be spiritual, same thing. No two individuals are going to have the exact same meaning, and no two individuals is going to be trying to get the exact same thing out of being awakened. Some individuals are just being awakened and are just using their intuition. They're using their gut instinct in order to move forward. Their heart chakra, they're putting a lot of focus on their heart chakras. Others love to expand their consciousness and connect with their higher selves. And no matter what your path is, every single direction that you could possibly take is the right path, but it's the right path for you. But in this video, we're going to be covering 5 things that could do more harm than good during your spiritual awakening. The first thing that you should avoid during your spiritual awakening is judging yourself too hard. Let's face it, we live in a society where everything has to be quick. I want the easiest way. I want the fastest way of achieving something. And the spiritual awakening process is not about speed. It's about going through each phase and being as thorough as possible. Whether it's the purging stage, allowing yourself to totally open up your heart and allowing all these different painful situations come out, or else if it's peeling back the layers, discovering who you are. And what you're going to notice, the spiritual awakening process, for the first year to 2 years of your awakening, all the work is being done on the inside. Therefore, in your reality, you're not going to notice much of a change. But what I like to do is, once in a while, sit down and take a look at all the progress that you've made. As an example, the last 2-3 months or so, instead of just focusing in, okay, well, I haven't started a new career, or I haven't found the love of my life, or I haven't been able to manifest something big. Look at all the work that you've done, let's say, like I say, last 2-3 months, even going back the last 6 months. And you know what? You're going to be amazed at how much you've literally transformed yourself and how you've been able to finally allow the authentic person to come out. So really, it's important. Be gentle with yourself. Anytime you catch yourself judging yourself like this, ask yourself why and see what comes up, and look at all the hard work you've done. Most individuals, why do you think people go through midlife crisis at 40 years old? Why? Because they refuse to actually allow their emotions to come up. They refuse to allow those to come out once and for all. So just think about that. All the hard work that you've done, you're doing much better than you think. And the second thing that you should avoid during your spiritual awakening is feeling any type of regret or remorse for the way that you lived your life. It can be so easy. You're there, you have 30 seconds to make a decision. Or do I take action or not? Next thing you know, because most likely because of fear, you did not take action. But now you look back on these situations and think about how much more information you're gaining as time goes on, as far as how the outcome would have been. It's a lot easier a month after a certain situation, 5 years, 10 years after a situation, to look back and say, well, I should have done this because this is how it would have turned out. Look at where you were at that moment with the information that you had, and you're going to see that you most likely would have made the exact same decision. And as far as remorse, take a look at your childhood. Take a look at your upbringing. Take a look at your inner child. Take a look at those wounds. And that is what most likely created the type of person that you became as an adult. Therefore, if you had a painful childhood, you've kept a lot of emotions inside. You most likely, when you're an adult, you most likely relied mostly on anger. That was the only form of emotion that would come out. But you have to understand, you basically have had a rebirth. Okay? The old self and the new self, there's literally, except for this skin, there's literally going to be nothing that's going to stay the same. So really look back on them. And not only this, it's once you're able to purge these out, physically purge these out, you're going to learn the valuable life lessons. You're going to see that all of a sudden, you're going to be able to take your life's biggest regret, and you're going to be able to feel an immense amount of joy for the lesson that you were taught, even though it might have taken you decades in order to learn it. And the third thing that you should avoid during your spiritual awakening is not expressing your emotions. Okay, take a look at previously, before your spiritual awakening. You most likely were rationally thinking your way forward, and you were literally on autopilot. Emotions literally didn't play any part, or a very little part, as far as how you move forward. But now, once you've had your spiritual awakening, you're awakening the divine feminine. Whether you're a man or woman, everyone goes through this. You need to have the divine feminine awaken in order to allow you to heal and to discover who you are. So now what's happening is you're going from rationally thinking your way through life to now beginning to feel your way through life. And as you're doing this healing, your heart chakra is going to open. And you're going to see that you're going to become emotional. You're going to see that you're going to be letting your emotions guide you more and more. And it's not a time to start saying sorry to individuals for expressing your truth, for expressing what you believe in. But instead, continue to let those emotions guide you. Because what's happening is now you're letting go of rationally thinking, you're moving into your heart space, and your heart, for those of you who've been awakened for all, you know what I'm talking about. Your heart is literally the compass to life. Your heart will never lead you down the wrong path. So don't be afraid to let those emotions out, and don't be afraid to speak your truth. As long as you're being authentic, it doesn't matter. You're being your real self. Therefore, you should not apologize for the way that you're moving forward to anyone. And the fourth thing that you should avoid during your spiritual awakening is don't compare yourself to others. The grass is always greener on the other side when you don't have the complete picture, when you don't know the full story. And you have to understand, we each have our own journeys, and the life experiences that we gain is for our own benefits. Some people are going to have success early on, others are going to have success later on. Sometimes some people have to go through very difficult situations in order to remain humble. And especially when it comes to spirituality, don't compare yourself to. How can you possibly compare yourself with someone, an example, who's been awakened 5-10 years longer than you? You absolutely can't. But we each have our own journey. We each have our own pace as far as how we move forward. So let go of any type of comparing yourself with others, and just continue to create more and more self-love. Continue to encourage yourself. Continue moving forward with what makes you feel good. Continue taking those actions. Expand that comfort zone. Start stepping out of that comfort zone, and take the chances when you see fit. Make the moves. Take the actions that you should when you feel it, when your instinct, or else whenever you're receiving guidance. Use that guidance, use that intuition, and move forward. And don't compare yourself to others. And just from my own personal experience, don't just sit there and wait till you're overly prepared to start something. You're going to get the answers you need as you move along. You're always going to know what's the next step to take. You won't know the end goal, but you're going to know what's the next step to take. You're going to gain the information when you're meant to. So just take that action and move forward, and don't compare yourself with anyone. Don't even bother. It is just a waste of time. It is going to eat up at you on the inside. And the fifth thing that you should avoid during your spiritual awakening is being stuck either in the past or being stuck in the future. Not feeling happy with your current present situation. And it's understandable that you want to envision your future. You want to do meditation as far as what is it that you want to bring forth. But if you're always focusing on the future or else on the past to escape your reality, that's not being spiritual. I can understand. Let's say an example, you don't have the money to pay a certain bill. That's fine. You can ignore it until you're able to actually pay it. Or else set some time aside once a week. Let's say, okay, let's review finances as an example. Let's see how can I get back on top of these different situations. Because what's going to happen, you're literally gonna miss out on these incredible opportunities, as little as they can possibly be. You're gonna be missing out on them because you're always focusing in on the future, focusing on the past. It's the same as someone right now. You look at the general population. Most individuals are always on their phones. Most individuals aren't even watching where they're walking. Let's say you go see visits on family and friends. Most individuals are on their phone. They're not being present. Therefore, they're missing out on wonderful opportunities that could come forth. Why? Because they just don't see it. And as a spiritual being, you're much more powerful than you think. Connect with your angels and your guides and start working with them. Start manifesting the future that you want to have come forth. And as far as your manifestation, if they're not coming forth, start with something small. Because the reason they're not coming forth is most likely you're not able to get the emotion involved, or else there's still a self-limited belief. Therefore, instead of trying right away, I want to attract $5,000 a month as far as my career, as far as let's say the business that you have. Instead, okay, I want to have $50 a month come forth. You're gonna see, you're gonna get these ideas, and whether it's saving off your cable bill or saving off the groceries, no matter which area, wherever you're getting this from, you still were able to manifest this. And you're going to see, as you change on the inside, it is going to start to reflect itself out in your reality. You're going to notice all of a sudden, and like with my awakening, I went through a 5-year depression. Therefore, there was a lot of negative, stagnant energy. Even though I was putting all this effort, I was able to get the emotions. Okay, I was able to elevate and raise my vibration, get the emotions involved, envision it, yet it wasn't coming forth. But then all of a sudden, what ended up happening? Now that stagnant negative energy finally dissipated, and what ended up happening now is one manifestation after another, and some of them were so pinpoint on. There's no other explanation than it was my thoughts. It was my thoughts. It was exactly what I envisioned. It was the emotion that I brought forth that did bring this forth. Some of them, I'm telling you this, some of them were so specific that it's impossible that it was just a coincidence that it turned out this way. So don't be afraid of the present moment. It doesn't mean that you have to, example, if you're not happy where you're living, staying in your home all day, go out for a walk in nature. You can do so many different things that are joyful and that don't cost a thing. So just start being as present as possible and continue envisioning what you want to bring forth. But as far as your manifestations, start working on a daily basis instead of always looking at the end goal. It's just like taking the next step as far as, okay, I want to take a new path as far as my career, or a new path as far as a business. You're not going to know the end goal, but it's the same thing with your manifestation. Start manifesting on a daily basis what will help you at that day, at that very moment, that would make your day better. Because being spiritual is not supposed to be hard all the time. Being spiritual is about raising up your vibration. It's about feeling better and better each and every single day. And I have to admit, right now the energies in certain areas can be dark and dense. And that's why each and every single day I make sure to have minimum 2 hours of me time, 2 hours of not being around anyone, not being around electronic. Most of the time it is going for a walk out in nature. Most of the time it is doing meditations. Because being spiritual is about enjoying life more and more. It's about feeling your way forward. It's, like I said before, it's not supposed to be hard each and every single step of the way. Normally you'll do a lot of work, take a big massive leap, but then you pull back and now rest, learn, gain more knowledge in order to prepare you for the next step. And like I say, the energies coming forth are pretty powerful. This past week we just had the moon go through Scorpio. I didn't think it was going to affect us, but it actually affected us. I ended up getting insomnia, and I made a video on that. If you haven't seen that video, go watch that video, because they could explain to you why you were having trouble sleeping this past week or so. Well, that's going to do it for the video. Get yourselves out in nature, guys. I love you guys. Namaste.